Good day, everyone. In your previous topic, you had just learned about the two major types of book of accounts, namely the journal and the ledger. You were able to differentiate a journal from a ledger. And of course, you were able to illustrate the format of general journal and special journals. At the same time, the format of general ledger and subsidiary ledgers. Now, you are going to learn about analyzing and summarizing business transactions. I hope everybody will enjoy analyzing and summarizing business transactions using the rules of debit and credit. Good luck! At the end of the lesson, you learners should be able to analyze common business transactions using the rules of debit and credit. Okay, let's start learning about the normal balance of accounts. If the statement of financial position is constructed immediately after its transaction, it should always be that the total assets must be equal to the total of the aggregate liabilities and owner's equity. So, it talks about the accounting equation that assets should always be equal to liabilities and owner's equity. Remember that the accounting equation is divided into two sides. We have the left side and the right side, which are accounted to always maintain a balanced account. On the left-hand side is an asset which has a normal debit balance, and on the right-hand side are liabilities and capital which have normal credit balances. So these are the three elements under the statement of financial position. To debit an asset is to increase an asset, and to credit it means to decrease it. Likewise, to debit liabilities and capital means to decrease their amount, and to credit means to increase their amount. Of course, debit means the value received and credit means the value parted with. That also refers to the dual aspect concept, stating that for every value received, there is a corresponding value parted with. We have also here the normal balance of accounts under the statement of comprehensive income. So what are the elements under the statement of comprehensive income? We have the expenses and the revenues. Expenses fall on the debit side or on the left-hand side, and revenues fall on the right-hand side. To debit an expense means to increase an expense. To credit an expense is to decrease it. On the other hand, to credit a revenue is to increase income. Likewise, to debit it is to decrease it or its amount. So expenses are initially recorded on the debit side, and revenues are initially recorded on the credit side. So these are the normal balances of these SCI accounts: expenses, debit, revenues, credit. Take note that the two sides of an accounting equation is the application of the dual aspect concept, which provides that every value received has a corresponding value parted with. So this concept is the basis in recording economic transactions and events. All right, we have here now the rules of debit and credit. The rules of debit and credit are based on the normal balance of an accounting element or account, or the usual position of an account in the T account. The normal balance of an account also provides the basis in analyzing when to debit or when to credit an account. So let us analyze one by one the rules of debit and credit. So these rules must be observed when to debit or when to credit an asset, a liability, or capital accounts. Alright, here we go. Okay, rule 1. we have the asset account. Debit means to increase the amount of the asset. Likewise, credit means to decrease its amount. So you can see in the table on the left-hand side, debit increases asset. On the right-hand side, credit decreases asset. Remember that? Rule 1 under asset. Okay, in order for you to understand the first rule, the rule on asset, let's take as an example the given informations here, the given transactions. Assume the following information. January 2, Versa Tile Shop bought 5,000 worth of supplies on account. So using the T account method, the analysis would be as follows. So on January 2, there is an increase in supplies amounting to 5,000. So you as an accountant have to debit 5,000 worth of supplies on January 2. On January 31, the shop used 2,000 worth of supplies during the month. That means to say that worth of supplies had decreased to 2,000 because that amount was already used. It means there is a decrease. So, as an accountant, you have to credit supplies amounting to 2,000. Dated January 31, credit 2,000. So, the balance now, as of January 31, the balance of supplies amount to 3,000 pesos. So, 5,000 beginning balance as of January 2 less the amount of supplies being used 2,000 equals ending balance as of January 31 amounting to 3,000 pesos. So 3,000 pesos will now be the remaining balance of supplies, unused supplies for the month. Okay, rule 2, liability. Credit means to increase the amount of liability. Likewise, debit means to decrease its amount. So you can see in the table on the left-hand side, debit decreases the liability amount, and on the right-hand side, credit increases liability amount. Okay, let's now apply the rules of debit and credit as to liability account. So remember that liability account has a normal credit balance. So on January 2, Versatile Shop bought 5,000 worth of supplies on account. Of course, the purchase of supplies mean an increase in amount of supplies. But then, purchase of supplies mean also an obligation that transpired due to the purchase of supplies on account. So, as an accountant, you have to record 5,000 worth of supplies under accounts payable account. So, that is a liability. It means there is an increase in liability account. So, you have to credit 5,000 worth of supplies on January 2. And then on January 15, the shop paid 3,500 for the said obligation. So upon payment of the partial payment for the said obligation, that partial payment means decreasing the amount of payable to the supplier. So, as an accountant, you have to deduct that amount to the outstanding accounts payable balance. So, debit 3,500 January 15. Using this T account, that's already the analysis. Of course, the remaining balance of accounts payable after the partial payment decreases to 1,500. 5,000 balance of accounts payable as of January 2 less partial payment as of January 15, 3,500 equals ending balance of accounts payable as of January 15 or the outstanding balance of accounts payable as of January 15 amounts to 1,500 pesos. Alright, let's proceed with Rule 3 of the Owner's Equity Account. So what is the rule under Owner's Equity? Remember that Owner's Equity has normal credit balance. So the rule is credit means to increase the capital account and then debit means to decrease its amount. So as the table illustrates, debit decreases owner's equity amount and then credit increases owner's equity amount. Are you now ready to apply the rules of debit and credit under owner's equity account? Alright, here we go. Assume the following information. On January 1, Versatile invested 500,000 cash into her business. The investment of Versatile in the business mean an increase in the capital account of the business. So that means as an accountant, you have to credit capital account of Versatile amounting to 500,000. So credit 500,000 to Versatile capital account on January 1. And then on March 15, the owner withdrew 200,000 cash as permanent withdrawal from the business. Okay, what will happen? Because of that transaction, because of that permanent withdrawal or drawings of the owner, the capital account will probably decrease. So that means to say, as an accountant, you have to decrease the capital amount or the outstanding balance in the capital account of Versatile. So, debit 200,000 cash on March 15. So, as of March 15, the ending balance of Versatile Capital is 300,000 pesos. So, 500,000 pesos, beginning balance as of January 1, less drawings, 200,000 as of March 15. The remaining balance of capital account is 300,000 pesos as of March 15. Okay, we are now on our way to Rule 4, the rules of debit and credit on revenue account. So remember that revenue account has normal credit balance. So to credit a revenue means to increase the revenue account. And then to debit it means to decrease its amount. So the table says it so. Debit decreases revenue account while credit increases revenue account. That's it. So let us now apply the rules of debit and credit on revenue account. Okay, let us assume the following information for us to apply the rules of debit and credit on revenue account. So on December 31, Versatile recorded 400,000 worth of service income. Of course, we knew that revenue account has normal credit balance. So obtaining service income means increasing the amount of service income. As an accountant, you have to record 400,000 worth of service income on the credit side of the service income account. So, December 1, credit 400,000. On December 31, Tile determined that the recorded service income on December 31 should not be 400,000. So, the correct amount is 40,000. So, what should be done? In order to adjust or to correct the recorded service income, the accountant should reduce the recorded amount 400,000 by 360,000. On December 31, 360,000 amount of service income should be debited in order to reduce the amount of recorded service income, and 2, reflect the correct amount of service income amounting to 40,000. Reflecting that correction, the correct balance of service income as of December 31 is now 40,000 pesos. All right, we're now on our way to Rule 5, expense. Okay, we know very well that the normal balance of expense is debit. So, to debit an expense means to increase its amount, while to credit it means to decrease its amount. So, the table says it so. Debit increases expense account, while credit decreases expense account. Okay, here we go with the illustrations on Rule 5. Okay, let's assume the given information. On December 5, Versatile paid and recorded 50,000 for rent. So, of course, as an accountant, you have to record that 50,000 payment as an expense. So, you have to debit 50,000 on December 5 under rent expense account. On December 31, the shop discovered that the correct amount of rent expense is 5,000 instead of 50,000. So it means to say the expense was overstated. So what should be done? In order to correct the amount, we have to adjust the amount. We have to decrease the amount by 45,000. So how is that? 50,000 recorded rent expense less 5,000, correct amount of rent expense equals 45,000. So, you have to credit 45,000 as of December 31. So, the balance or the correct balance of rent income as of December 31 is 5,000 pesos. Alright, we are now done discussing about the rules on debit and credit. So, do you remember the rules? Rules for asset, rules for liabilities, rule for capital, for revenues, and for expenses. So, let's take a look at the summary of debit and credit analysis. But before that, we should always remember that the chart of accounts or the listing of all accounts being used in the business, whereby all accounts are listed in their corresponding normal balances, should always be remembered. So, in the left side are the assets and expenses with normal debit balances, and on the right hand side are the liabilities, the capital, and the revenue or income with normal credit balances. So when used as a tool to analyze the effects of business transactions, the T account maintains the equations debits equals credit. So that is the dual aspect concept, which states that for every value received or debit, there should always be a corresponding value parted with, and that is credit. So we have here the accounting elements. On the debit side, increases in assets, expenses, and losses. And on the right-hand side, credit decreases in assets, expenses, and losses. And the opposite of its normal balances, on the left-hand side, debit decreases liabilities, capital, then the revenue or income or profit. And on the right-hand side, credit increases in liabilities, capital, revenue, or income or profit accounts. So remember those because those are the rules of debit and credit which we are going to use when we are analyzing, classifying, and recording economic transactions and events. And always remember the dual aspect concept, the rules on debit and credit, and that the statement that in every value received, there should always be a corresponding value parted with. And it is also very important that you should always know or remember the chart of accounts or the listing of all accounts, that in the left hand side, we have the accounts with normal balances, the assets and expenses and losses, of course. And on the right hand side, we have the accounts with normal credit balances. Of course, we have the liabilities, the capital, and the revenue accounts. Okay, for a better understanding, we have here another set of summarizing debit and credit analysis. The difference between the monetary totals of debits and credits to an account represents the ending balance of that account. The minimum ending balance of an account is zero. Remember that. So this occurs when the total debits equals total credits to an account. So we have here the type of account, asset, increases in its normal balance debit and decreases on the credit side. But for contra asset accounts, the normal balance is opposite of the normal asset balance. So say for example, allowance for doubtful accounts is a contra asset account, so its normal balance is credit. Likewise, accumulated depreciation has normal credit balance also because it is a contra asset account. To debit, these accounts mean to decrease their amount. So for liabilities, increases in its normal balance credit and decreases when debited. Equity increases on its normal balance credit and decreases when debited. Income increases on its normal balance credit and decreases when debited. Lastly, expense increases on its normal balance debit and decreases when credited. So, this sums up the rules on debit and credit. Alright, this ends our discussion or our learning in analyzing and summarizing business transactions using the rules on debit and credit. So thank you for actively listening, analyzing, and applying what you have learned. So God bless, enjoy learning. We have again a same set of references for more analytical and problem solving skills. So good luck. God bless everyone.